Hello, everyone. Carrie Heaps with Book Speak Repeat. I hope everybody is having a fabulous, fabulous night. I'm just popping on real quick to do a really quick video about meeting planner and audience feedback, what it means, what you need to do with it, and how you need to interpret that and so forth. So clearly with our flagship product with Speaker in a Box, we do a lot of Zoom auditions with meeting planners. I'm going to adjust my camera here for a moment. We do a lot of different things with our Zoom auditions where you can get feedback from consistently the same meeting planners, or it might be new ones, depending upon which Zoom auditions you're joining us for. And you get feedback almost every time, depending upon if the meeting planner has time to do it or wants to give you feedback. So you also get feedback from your audience members when you are doing an event. At the larger shows, they're going to have everybody filling out a feedback form. It might be electronic or something that's placed out on the table. They do share that with you typically at the larger events, but after the event's over, maybe a few weeks after, they email that to you. Two things I always like to tell everybody about feedback. Feedback should be taken seriously, and especially with how you're graded, what kind of feedback you're getting back. And it should also be taken with kind of a grain of salt. Okay, so I'm going to dive in really quick and tell you what I mean by that. So for example, if you're getting meeting planner feedback and the meeting planner is giving you feedback on your presentation, your pitch, whatever, and they're giving you feedback saying you may want to change this or add this, and then you may do the same pitch again for another meeting planner 2 weeks from now, and you get entirely different feedback. Okay, that is completely normal, and here's the reasoning behind it. Every meeting planner, whether it's independent or an association event planner, they are going to have, based upon their current needs, what feedback they're giving you. So they may be thinking, okay, well, my current client is looking for a speaker on leadership, and they really want somebody who can really talk to people about leading teams and incorporating more team building. I'm kind of making this up as I go along, but that's what they might be looking for. So when you do your pitch, if it's not kind of aligning with what they're looking for at that current time, they're going to give you feedback based on what they have in the pipeline. Same thing with association meeting planners. If they're looking for certain things with team building or with communication, and you speak on that topic, and the feedback they're giving you isn't, it's making you feel like, well, maybe I'm not a good fit. Again, they're just giving you feedback so you can help and improve your presentation as you move forward. So take the feedback, make the changes that you feel like are going to help you do your pitch better, make it quicker, let it roll off the tongue, where it's just, easy peasy for you. And then the other things that they're telling you that may not feel right for you, if it doesn't resonate with you, then don't make that change. Especially if you feel like, hey, this is making me feel uncomfortable, I don't want to incorporate this in my pitch, because that's going to come out in your pitch. People will hear it in your voice, they'll see it on your face if it's a Zoom meeting. So take what resonates with you and implement those changes. But just know, meeting planning, what they're looking for changes on a weekly basis, really, with all of the events. And it's really based on what their attendees are wanting, or what their employees need at the moment, or if it's an independent meeting planner, what their current clients are needing. So you could get an evaluation from the exact same meeting planner 2 weeks later, and it could be something different. But again, keep in mind, they're telling you this based on what their needs are currently. Now you're probably saying to yourself, well, Carrie, why can't I just know exactly what the meeting planner is looking for? Wouldn't that save me time? Yes, it would in a way, but in another way, it also, it kind of deters the purpose of interviewing people, whether they do it through us or not. And I'll give you an example. If you knew for a fact that a particular meeting was looking for a leadership speaker, they're looking for, all these different things that maybe they want to incorporate team building. They need somebody who can help them eliminate turnover. You have all these specifics, but the overall picture, you're really good at 2 of those things that they're looking for. The other 4 or 5 are not your forte. So you might nail it with that pitch and get the job, but then you wind up getting bad feedback because logistically you weren't really the right person for the job. It's kind of like, I equate this to interviewing for a job, because at the end of the day, being a speaker is a job. That job may be 30 minutes, it may be an hour for that keynote. Nonetheless, it's a job. They want to make sure that they're hiring the right person. So they're never going to give away everything that they're looking for, nor should they, because there are people out there, just same thing. And, I used to be a recruiter. So we would have people who would interview. They looked amazing on paper and they interviewed so well. They were professional interviewers. But when it came down to it, they couldn't do the job. So that's what they're trying to avoid. You're never going to know exactly everything. And even if you did, chances are there's going to be certain points that you are not going to be able to hit a home run on, so to speak. So keep that in mind. It's always going to be ever changing. Even your event feedback. A lot of times when I get feedback from the audience, the forums, they categorize everything for me. I kind of have an overall score. And then I get the written out feedback. I get that too. They'll type it up for me. And I always look at that objectively. And that's how you should look at all of this. Never take this personally. Always remember, there is good in all feedback. I don't care how negative it is. So to give you an example, if you're getting feedback like I did one year, I got feedback from an attendee that said, this wasn't what I thought it was going to be, meaning they didn't feel like what I taught was what was presented, when they signed up. So I went back, I looked at the marketing material, what I gave them. I looked at my PowerPoint, I looked at my notes. I did make a couple of adjustments because I thought, well, maybe this is the reason why this person felt that way. Now, I got that again, probably 2 years later from one person as well. I did the same process. I looked at the marketing material on the website. I looked at what I had in my PowerPoint, and I looked at my notes of what, I teach from. And I saw nothing that was showing anything different than what was supposed to be there. So at that point, the second time around, I thought, okay, that's just somebody who, a fluke thing, so I just kind of brushed it off at that. Now, I've also had feedback where people are saying, well, I really wish that I could have seen her more up close. She was doing, body language movement. There were too many people in the audience. Now, clearly, that's not something I can really control. So my feedback was with the show, I said, look, if we do this again, I need to make sure we only have so many people, or if you have more people, I need to be up on the screen in addition to people seeing me on the floor. So, that was something I had to work with the meeting planner to fix. But anytime I get feedback, regardless of what it is, it could be about my voice or my appearance or whatever, I always look at that objectively and go, how can this help me? How can I move forward with this? How can I help it improve my presentation? Because at the end of the day, as we're all, this is a continual improvement process. Like I tell everyone, some people want to go to seminars where they're going to teach you how to do a $1 million presentation. The only thing that's really going to turn you into a $1 million presenter is time and practice and continuing to do your presentation, taking feedback. It happens over time. So keep that in mind. You want to continually improve your presentation, continually improve your pitch and what you're doing, but just know that this is ever changing. You're never going to have anybody come back to you and go, wow, you just nailed it. I mean, you might, but logistically, even if you do, you still want to be improving. You still always want to improve. There's always room for improvement. And I think we're speakers, we're leaders, we're servant leaders. And I think it's also important that we're continually learning. I think the minute we think that we have nothing else to learn, that's when we are doing ourselves a disservice in addition to our audiences. So keep that in mind with meeting planners. Again, you're getting feedback based on what their needs are currently. So that will consistently change. Even if you do a near perfect pitch, you're still going to probably get some type of feedback, which is great, but don't get frustrated if you're feeling like you're constantly getting feedback and it's not really matching. At that point, you may want to take a look at your topics and try to hone it in a little bit more based on who is on the call, what type of organizations we have joining us. for that particular Zoom meeting. And same thing too, if you are getting really bad audience feedback, definitely hop on our Thursday night calls. Let's talk about that. Let's figure out what could be going on. You could always do a mock presentation on that call and get audience feedback from the other speakers there and get feedback directly from me, so we can nip that problem in the bud and get you back on track to where you need to be. So I hope this video helps. If you are not currently working with us, definitely check out our Speaker in a Box program on our website. There's a link in the show notes below, and you can check out that program, see if it might be a good fit for you. And if you've never thought about becoming a speaker, but you're thinking about it now, check out our academy as well. And if you haven't already done it, click on the subscribe button below. I hope this helps you. As always, I am wishing you continued success.